Light of the World, Learning English Through the Bible, Unit A2-18. Copyright 2021-2022, Literacy International.
Pray, Review, and Preview. Bible Reading, The Deliverers, Judges, chapters 6 through 8, 1 Samuel, chapter 8. Theme, Sports. Pronunciation, E spelled consonant EY and F spelled PH. Grammar, adverbs of frequency and intensifiers.
What do you see?
1. Sports. 2. Baseball. 3. Soccer. 4. Martial arts. 5. Net. 6. Volleyball. 7. Hockey. 8. Basketball. 9. Tennis. 10. To ice skate. 11. To roller skate.
Listen and repeat. 1. Table tennis or ping pong. Table tennis or ping pong. They are playing table tennis. They are playing table tennis. 2. Volleyball. Volleyball. They play volleyball very well. They play volleyball very well. 3. Basketball. Basketball. They love to play basketball. They love to play basketball. 4. Hockey. Hockey. The hockey game was exciting. The hockey game was exciting.
Listen and repeat. 5. A net. A net. The ball went into the net. The ball went into the net. 6. Football. American football. Football. American football. He is throwing the football on the field. He is throwing the football on the field. 7. Baseball. Baseball. He enjoys playing baseball. He enjoys playing baseball. 8. Cricket. Cricket. He's playing cricket. He's playing cricket.
Listen and repeat. 9. To skate. To skate. They are roller skating together. They are roller skating together. 10. To ski. To ski. They are skiing on the snow. They are skiing on the snow. 11. To surf. To surf. They love to surf in the sea. They love to surf in the sea. 12. To hit. To hit. He hits the ball hard. He hits the ball hard.
How often do you? Adverb, frequency, answers. Always, 100%. For example, I always play volleyball at the beach. Usually, 80%. Often, 70%. Sometimes, 50%. Rarely, 20%. Never, 0%.
Intensifiers. Very, really, so, to. Negative only. Sentences. 1. God is always so good. 2. I love playing hockey. It's fun. 3. That basketball player is tall. 4. The weather today is beautiful. 5. He likes playing ping pong. It's very fast. 6. I don't like playing ping pong. It's too fast. 7. I never watch golf. It's boring.
Listen and repeat. What are you going to do this weekend?
I'm going to play ping pong with some friends.
That sounds so fun. Do you always play ping pong?
Sometimes. Often we play football. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to surf with my brother.
That is really cool. Do you surf very often?
Rarely, but I wish I did it more often. Listen and repeat. 1. E spelled consonant EY. Money, hockey, honey, valley, monkey. 2. F spelled PH. Phone, photo, Joseph, pharmacy, dolphin. A. Joseph usually has a key to lock the pharmacy. B. I have a photo on my phone of my sister playing volleyball.
Listen and repeat. A. Surfs, skis, nets, skates. B. Hockey, football, baseball, cricket. C. Volleyball, basketball, cricket bat, Joshua. The Deliverers, Judges chapters 6 through 8 and 1 Samuel chapter 8. After Joshua died, the Israelites disobeyed God. They did not obey God's laws, and they did not drive out the rest of the Canaanites from the promised land. The Israelites began to worship the Canaanite gods instead of Yahweh, the true God. The Israelites had no king, so everyone did what they thought was right for themselves. Disobeying God became a pattern for the Israelites, and they repeated it many times.
The pattern went like this. The Israelites disobeyed God for several years. Then God punished them by letting their enemies defeat them. These enemies stole things, destroyed their land, and killed many of the Israelites. Then, after Israel's enemies punished them for many years, the Israelites repented of their sin and asked God to save them. Each time the Israelites repented, God rescued them. He did this by sending a deliverer, a person to fight against their enemies and defeat them. Then peace returned in the land, and the deliverer ruled over them. Well, God sent many deliverers to rescue the Israelites.
God did this again after he allowed a nearby enemy group called the Midianites to defeat the Israelites. The Midianites took all of the Israelites' crops for 7 years. The Israelites were so afraid they hid in caves. Finally, they cried out to God to save them. One day, an Israelite man named Gideon was gathering grain in a hidden place so the Midianites would not steal it. The angel of Yahweh came to Gideon and said, "God is with you, brave soldier. Go and save Israel from the Midianites."
Gideon's father had an altar for an idol. The first thing God told Gideon to do was to pull down that altar. Gideon was afraid of the people, so he waited until night. Then he pulled down the altar and broke it to pieces. He built a new altar to God nearby and made an offering to God on it. The next morning, the people saw that someone had pulled down the altar, and they were very angry. They went to Gideon's house to kill him. But Gideon's father said, "Why are you trying to help your God? If he is a God, let him save himself." Because he said this, the people did not kill Gideon.
Then the Midianites came again to steal from the Israelites. There were so many of them that they could not be counted. Gideon called the Israelites together to fight the Midianites. Gideon asked God for 2 signs so he could be sure that God was really telling him to save Israel. For the first sign, Gideon put a sheepskin on the ground and asked God to let the morning dew fall only on the sheepskin and not on the ground. God did that. The next night he asked that the ground be wet, but the sheepskin dry. God did that too. Because of these 2 signs, Gideon believed that God really wanted him to save Israel from the Midianites.
Gideon called for soldiers to come to him, and 32,000 men came. But God told him this was too many. So Gideon sent home 22,000 men, all who were afraid to fight. God told Gideon that he still had too many men. So Gideon sent all of them home except for 300 soldiers. That night, God told Gideon, Go down to the Midianite camp and listen to them talk. When you hear what they say, you will no longer be afraid to attack them." So that night, Gideon went to the camp and heard a Midianite soldier telling his friend about a dream he had.
The man's friend said, "This dream means that Gideon's army will defeat us, the Midianite army." When Gideon heard this, he worshipped God. Then Gideon returned to his soldiers and gave each of them a horn, a clay pot, and a burning torch. They surrounded the camp where the Midianite soldiers were sleeping. Gideon's 300 soldiers had the torches in the pots, so the Midianites could not see the light of the torches. Then all of Gideon's soldiers broke their pots at the same time, revealing the fire of the torches. They blew their horns and shouted, "A sword for Yahweh and for Gideon!"
God confused the Midianites so that they started attacking and killing each other. Immediately, Gideon sent messengers to call many other Israelites to come from their homes and help chase the Midianites. They killed many of them and chased the rest of them out of Israelites' land. God made 120,000 Midianites die that day. This is how God saved Israel.
Then the people wanted to make Gideon their king. Gideon did not let them do this, but he asked them for some of the gold rings that each of them had taken from the Midianites. The people gave Gideon a lot of gold. Then Gideon used the gold to make an ephod, a piece of clothing priests wore. But the people started worshiping the ephod like an idol. So God punished Israel again because they worshipped idols. God allowed their enemies to defeat them. They finally asked God for help again, and God sent them another deliverer to rescue them.
The same thing happened many times. The Israelites sinned, God punished them, they repented, and God sent someone to rescue them. Over many years, God sent many deliverers who saved the Israelites from their enemies. Finally, the people asked God to give them a king like all the other nations had. They wanted a king who was tall and strong and who could lead them into battle. God did not like this, but he gave them a king just as they had asked.
Answer the questions. 1. What did God tell the Israelites to do to the Canaanites? Why? 2. What happened because they disobeyed God? 3. What 2 signs did Gideon ask from God? 4. Why do you think that God kept helping Israel even when they were unfaithful? 5. Why did Gideon refuse to be a king over the Israelites? 6. What things distract you from worshiping God alone?
Our photography class is taking a trip to the zoo in Phoenix next week. We are very excited. We have to leave really early. The trip will be a short journey. Before we board the bus, our teacher will take a class photo. We can dress casually and wear comfortable shoes and jeans. Last week, the teacher gave all of us a map of the zoo exhibits so we could plan our day. We need to take many photographs. It is a big zoo with hills and valleys, so we'll get lots of physical exercise. I have to remember to bring my phone, keys, money to pay for the ticket, and a camera to take photos. When we arrive, I will buy a sandwich and a bag of honey-flavored peanuts for my lunch. The zoo has a scheduled feeding times for the animals, but visitors are not allowed to feed the animals. Someday, I hope to become a professional photographer, so I often practice taking photos. I want to get really good pictures of a dolphin and a monkey that day. It's always so fun to visit the zoo.
Listen and answer the questions. 1. Where is the zoo? 2. What will Abby bring? 3. Why will the students get lots of exercise? 4. Which animals does Abby want to take photos of? 5. What does Abby want to be someday?
Write questions and ask your partner. How often do you... Answers: always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. For example, 1. Play basketball. I never play basketball. I prefer cricket. 2. Listen to... 3. Practice. 4. Watch. 5. Feel very... 6. Really fast. 7. 2.
Game, sports charades. Act out the vocabulary words.
1A. Homework. Write about the pictures using adverbs of frequency. For example, 1. I always play table tennis with my sister when we're at home together.
1B. Homework. Write about the pictures using intensifiers. For example, 7. My friend plays baseball very well.
2A. Rewrite each sentence with an adverb. Often, never, rarely, sometimes, usually, always. For example, A. He plays football only once a year. He rarely plays football. B. I skate every day. C. Once a week we hit some tennis balls. D. We play hockey on weekends. E. I skied 0 times last year. F. Every night we play ping pong. G. He surfs 3 times a week.
2B. Use intensifiers to write sentences. Very, really, to, so, cool, warm, late, wet, afraid, dry, lonely, early, strong, brave, tall. For example, 1. Gideon felt very afraid, but God helped him be really brave.
3. Write questions and ask a partner. Questions, answers. For example, 1. Where do you play basketball? I sometimes play at school. 2. Cricket. 3. Football. 4. Usually. 5. Hit. 6. A net. 7. Very.
4. Answer and say the sentences. Mark the EY and PH sounds. For example, A. Who do you talk to on the phone? I talk to my mother on the phone. B. Do you see donkeys or dolphins? C. What do you need a key for? D. Do you like to take photos? E. Do you like honey in your tea? F. Who was the pharaoh? G. Do you like hockey or volleyball?
5. Bible review. Write about Gideon. Who was Gideon? What did God want him to do? How are you like Gideon? How are you different from him? Gideon was... God wanted him to... So Gideon... Then Gideon... I am like Gideon because... I am different from him because...
6A. Choose one verse to memorize. A. The Lord turned toward Gideon and said, Then use your great power and go save the Israelites from the Midianites. I am sending you to save them. Judges chapter 6, verse 14 from the ERV. B. You men surround the enemy camp. I and all the men with me will blow our trumpets. When we blow our trumpets, you blow your trumpets too. Then shout these words for the Lord and for Gideon. Judges chapter 7, verse 18 from the ERV.
6b. Choose one verse to memorize and read the next verses. C. I always remember your faithful love. I depend on your faithfulness. Psalm 26, verse 3 from the ERV. Read the next lesson's Bible verses. 1 Samuel chapter 10, chapters 15 through 19, chapter 24, and chapter 31, and 2 Samuel chapter 5, chapter 7, and chapters 11 through 12 in your language.
7A, read and answer the questions. The Olympic Games. Every 4 years, the best athletes from around the world compete in the Olympic Games, also known as the Olympics. The tradition of these games began thousands of years ago in Greece. Now they are hosted in different countries. The Summer Olympics is held 2 years before the Winter Olympics. Although only a few people are good enough to qualify for the Olympic teams, millions of people watch the games and cheer for the players. The Olympic motto is faster, stronger, higher. The Winter Olympics always has ice and snow sports, such as hockey, skiing, and ice skating. The Summer Olympics has sports like volleyball, basketball, table tennis, gymnastics, and swimming. Players usually practice for many years for the chance to compete and win. The winners receive gold medals and bring honor to their countries. It's really exciting to watch the games.
7B. Answer the questions about the Olympics. A. Why do athletes compete in the Olympics? B. When and where did the Olympics start? C. Why do people like to watch the games? D. What is the difference between the Summer and Winter Olympics? E. Why do you think the motto is faster, stronger, higher? F. Which Olympic events would you like to watch? Why?
8. Write about an activity you like. Write 10 sentences about your favorite sport or activity.
9. Homework. Now I can talk about sports. I can understand, say, read, and write the 12 vocabulary words. I can use always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never, to tell how frequently I do something. I can understand the faithfulness of God.
Closing prayer.